All right, beautiful people. In this episode, we are going to be ditching the bad weather. We're going to go back to the summer, and we are going to build the ultimate Lego table. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I will see you guys all at the end. All right, so I am going to go ahead and start working on the Lego table. And what I'm going to start with is the design work for the table. I'm not sure how much of this, CAD process I'm gonna actually share in the videos that I make in the making of this, but we'll see. So when I set out to make this table, I wanted it to have a couple of qualities. First of all, I wanted it to have a lip around the edge of the top to help keep you from losing pieces. I wanted it to have space for 6 of the Lego roads. And then I wanted it to have lots of storage underneath so that you could organize your Legos underneath the table. And then the last thing is that I wanted to put it on adjustable legs so that you could lift and lower it and put it on wheels. I went ahead and laid out all of the parts of the table on a sheet of plywood. So here's the boundaries to the sheet of plywood, and then I basically put all the pieces on the plywood so that I knew that I could get the entire table out of one sheet. A couple of things. When you do your first cut, it should be this edge here, and just that runs the whole sheet of plywood at 21 1/8, and then I cut across that on the crosscut sled at 31 and I think it's 3/16, and then I cut at 16 3/4 so that I could get these two pieces, and then I cut these pieces out of what was left. Then I went on to cut at 13 inches, going all the way across, and then I used a crosscut sled to cut these pieces out. And tomorrow I will use what's left to cut these small pieces out and the legs that you see here. I'm going to leave this chunk of wood over here, and I'm going to use that to make the feet, which are going to be smaller, and hopefully I can get the feet out of that and possibly find some scraps that I can use to make stringers for the bottom. Now I'm doing this using a table saw at work, and the reality is this would be much better done using like a track saw. I just don't have access to a track saw. At some point in the future I'll probably get one because it'll make making kayaks easier, and just having a good way to break down plywood would be good. I decided to edge band all of the plywood parts, so I got some pine at the local big box store and cut it into strips. For this entire build, I used glue and finish nails to hold everything together. It's probably overkill. The finish nails are probably more just working as a clamp while the glue dries, but it's kind of how I've been building things using plywood. Once I got the top done, I started working on the base. Now the way the base is joined together, I cut slots in the plywood and then kind of fitted it together. This is best done on a bandsaw. I'm sure some people use a table saw and cut halfway through and then stop and finish on a bandsaw. I found that it works just fine to use a bandsaw to get that done. In the base, there are two pieces, and I wanted to make little slots for both for the pieces to fit together and for the pieces so you could stick your fingers through the slots to pull the different trays out. And the way I did it is I just went ahead and tacked two boards together and then cut them both out at the same time. One of the things that I see some of my kids do is they make something in CAD that you can't physically put together. So something that I have to be very careful of when I design things is I have to design them with the idea of actually putting them together in mind and kind of figuring out like how I'm going to actually do all of the things that I think I'm going to do. So Gary decided to drop by to supervise. I'm not sure if I told him that I was making this Lego table for him and his grandson at this point, or if he didn't know why I was making it. But yeah, he came in and stopped by, and he's just a great guy. He's really helped me out in terms of my classes and my team. So here you can see I am banding the edges on the base, and basically it was a lot of lining up the edge banding, marking it off, cutting it off on the miter saw, and then bringing it back and gluing it and tacking it in place. When you make things in CAD, you can just click constrain and they stay together. In the real world, I decided to use wood screws, especially because they're going to be covered up by the Lego roads anyway. The Lego table itself is pretty good coming along. The cabinet is built, the legs are mounted, and you can see the top where the Lego roads go, as well as the slots for the organizers and the Lego tubs in the bottom. Because I marked everything out on the plywood before I cut anything out, part of what was nice is that I made it pretty easy to figure out which cuts to make when. Here I'm cutting out the legs, and again I'm edge banding everything. What's funny is I don't think I actually planned on edge banding, which means that I was doing a little bit of math in my head figuring out what length things needed to be or width to account for the 1/4 to 1/2 inch of pine that was going to be added to each of the parts. So the legs are designed so that you can screw them together to make them different lengths. And I basically did this by nesting 2 pieces with a bunch of bolt holes spread every 1 inch. And then basically you can bolt them together further down if you want longer legs, or you can bolt them together closer up if you want shorter legs. I figured this way, as the kids who are using this are growing up, they can basically make the legs longer so that they can use it while they're standing instead of, even when they're short and young, they can still use it while they're standing. I use these caster wheels on pretty much everything. They swivel and lock. I really like these wheels. I'll put a link in the description. A lot of people don't like sanding. I actually really enjoy the sanding process. I feel like it's kind of how you see whatever it is you're working on come alive. I don't think I put any finish on this table. I think when I gave it to Gary, I told him that he could put finish on it if he wanted. And I think he decided to just leave it as sanded plywood. He might have, sprayed it with polyurethane, but I'm not positive. Hopefully you can see that the top is 2 roads wide, or 2 roads deep, and three roads wide. I'm really happy with how this Lego table came out. I gave it to a really good friend of mine to use with his grandson, and here you can see them playing with it using the Lego Spike Essentials kit. I hope they use it for years into the future and they grow and have fun with it. All right, you guys, that brings us to the end of another episode and the end of another year. So for me, it is New Year's Eve. For you guys, this should be posting on New Year's Day. And I hope you guys all have an amazing 2023. I hope that everything is good and everyone stays healthy and happy. So let's keep working towards our dreams. Let's keep making things happen. Let's keep moving. Let's keep doing it. I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your year. I will see you guys in the next episode.